optimized for local stores, and we're on again with Mark Phillips, the CEO of Search Forecast. Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good morning, Ray, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining. It's great to see so many people on the webinar this morning. We're going to move through fairly quickly, try and spend about 20 minutes talking about local search, points of interest, how Google My Business works for retail chains, store networks, talk a little bit about some of our clients and how we've implemented local search engine optimization, in terms of design and page format, as well as cover some new futuristic local search technologies, including voice search and Geo Filters in Snapchat. We are a San Francisco-based company, raised in our New York office, and we basically, for the last 15 years, have helped hundreds of clients around the world essentially build smarter, more intelligent websites with an emphasis on local, and particularly with mobile phones being used by more than half of all the internet people in the developed worlds. Geolocations, searches on mobile phones to find stores has never been more relevant. In the early days of the internet, going back to 2005, a San Mateo-based company called Bills.com came to us and said, hey, we want to be found on every major city and town for people looking for mortgages, credit card consolidations, debt refinance, home finance, etc. We built 100, initially 100 and then 1,000 location-based pages. And so this was the early beginnings of local SEO. And what we would do is build content for a particular zip code. And we would host those pages on their server. They would be navigable from the website. And it was all about exposing content that was local to Google. And what we would do is frame up these pages, and you'll see there the Google map. We would include the JavaScript that we would get from the Google Map embed code and drop it into the HTML of this page. We would include on the left-hand side some content that our content writers would write. It was essentially just to give some local content citations such as zip code, local towns, and then we would pull in information from weather.com as well as, in this case, some local demographic information. So that was really the early first versions of local SEO. And it was all about, as you can see here, the president of Bills talking about how do we reach beyond our border? How do we promote our products and services into zip codes? So that was pretty interesting. Suburb Content was definitely the first way that we optimized content. Speeddate.com was another of our clients back in 2007 that was all about picking, helping people find other partners and dates in hyperlocal suburbs, cities, towns, regions. And so again, it was this practice of creating content that Google would index so it was relevant to that local user or that user that was in a particular environment. And in fact, just this morning, I went to the to the speeddate.com site, and you'll see that we've got these, local links to different cities and towns still as part of their architecture. And you'll see here that, Jacksonville, United States, all these particular people are listed here. And so that's just an example of how we did the local SEO for speeddate.com. If we go back to the presentation, this British-based company in London were a network of chiropractors, osteopaths, massage therapists, and we actually built this directory called the Osteopath Network, which became really successful, and that company was eventually acquired actually by a medical insurance group. But basically, this repeatable formula of local content, local APIs with Google Maps, very directory focused based on suburbs to regions to states to towns. It was all about just driving content into Google. So Google would, give to the local user a relevant page. And so it wasn't, from 2005 still to this day, it's not enough just to say we service these customers in these regions. You've got to build content that is relevant to that particular zip code, postcode in this sense. And so the requirement to re-architect, to redesign, to create local content was really important. Another example we provided for a client was HiFX. They're a 500-person foreign currency website, allows you to transfer money, swap money from different countries, and it was all around just focusing on where do people want to transfer money to, where are they located in, and how do you create content to capture those people. So they would type in terms like buying property in France, transfer money to Costa Rica. An example is the snowbirds of North America buying property in Latin America, Panama, Belize, or Florida. So people want to transfer money, if they're moving for work, moving for retirement to different places. So again, these location pages are about attracting content. Then along comes Google Place pages. I can't remember when, it was 2007, 2008. You remember Yelp came into the US market. These were the types of local directories that were becoming cooler, hipper, better online brands than what, say, Yellow Pages or Dex or these local listings websites that we grew up with were. So Google created a product called Google Place Pages that allowed all businesses in the US to essentially gave them a free local listing. And they did a very cool thing, which was, and you've seen them probably driving around, they put cameras on top of cars and literally mapped the earth in a product called Street View. They drove through every street in every town in every suburb and photographed every single exterior building, house, and put it up on Google Maps. And we've all used it today. You want to know what something looks like, you're looking for a house, you're going on a holiday, whatever it is that you're using Google Maps and then Street View to see not just the point where it is to get directional driving instructions, but you're using it to see what that point looks like. And so Google fused Street View into maps. And so that was a really dynamic force, and it allowed Google to provide authenticity and verification of local businesses in their index. And one of our clients in Australia actually is a network of about 400 real estate agents, and Search Forecast manages that entire Google local listings product for those 400 businesses. And I'll take you in a moment and show you the Google back end and how on a mechanical level every week we are maintaining those listings, updating photographs, making sure that the street view is accurate. And that's really important for local businesses. And before I do that, it's become really important for store networks, for businesses to manage these store listings, these local listings, this local SEO phenomena for their stores and their franchises, because that is what Google is displaying top of fold, above the fold on the results page, when people are typing in things like hairdressers New York City, or restaurant, Chinese restaurant Chicago, or in this case, real estate apartments for sale Sydney. Last year these pages generated almost 25 million page views for this a client of ours, and that's pretty significant when you think about the exposure. If you had to buy those impressions on Google, they would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So let's just dive in, see if Ray we can find this is First National. This is their you can see it's quite a significant website. But let's just go in and I'll show you how you will log into Google. So you would sign in this way, and then you go down and you'll see that you establish a Google account, and then what you'll see here is that we have a Google local listings login, and we will just log straight in to their dashboard. And this is where we manage for our clients thousands of different listings across different clients. Google will provide businesses with a dashboard. You then have to upload the store listings, and there's a couple of ways you can do that. You can import all the locations. So if you have a CSV file, an Excel spreadsheet, you can import, select all of those store listings. Google will actually allow you to download a sample spreadsheet, which I'll do right now. They actually give you the format that they want: name, address, phone number, URL, opening hours in. So they will actually give you the format they want your data to be in. So it's not difficult. It's time consuming, no doubt, but it's certainly not difficult. And you'll see on my screen here that the template that I'm downloading from Google is opening. And you'll see here, this is a sample from Google. They want, and I hope everyone can see the screen. Can you see that, Ray?
Yeah.
You can see Google want to see shop code. They want to see a business name. They want to see address. They want to see sublocality. They want to see the locality. They want to see the state, the country, the post or the zip code. They allow you to upload your primary number as well as an additional phone number, your website. They give you a defaulted list of categories that you can choose from, and then you can select additional categories. In this random example Google's provided, it's hotel and it's conferences. They'll also want to know what store opening hours there are. And the reason they do that is because they want the users to see, is that electronics store open? Is the hairdresser open? Is the plumber that I'm calling on Friday at 6 o'clock actually open for business? And then over here, you'll see that they allow you to upload photographs, logo photos, and different photographs, as well as provide a description of your business. And then if you're running AdWords, you can also include an AdWords extension. I won't go into too much. I mean, I'm here in Palo Alto, so let's just say that I need a hairdresser, Palo Alto, and you'll see Google will provide a list of stores or places, and you'll see that they've obviously got open until. You see I can run. Now this is something that we do all the time. So these are the pages. This is the Google map. Google will actually provide different reviews. Let's choose this salon. This is actually, this information here you'll see is being run and managed from within the Google or Google My Business dashboard. Small businesses, I have one. But if you're running a retail chain, a network, a list of or a group of dealers, it's really important. So we've just got a lot of experience, not just in building local content websites, but managing these pages through Google. So let's go down and sort of just dive in. You'll see actually here that Google, they'll have a lot of published. They often put some of the pages into review process. They often want you to resolve updates if they've come across different Google do this, interestingly enough, because they want you to continually manage the page. So I think there's about 300 pages here within the First National Real Estate account of different realtor websites or realtor stores. And you'll see here, for instance, that there's Google Search, there's Google Maps, there's Google Plus. And so if we go down here, we can actually see the Plus page. And so we manage all these logos. You can change the cover, you can change the logo, you can upload different logos, you can change the cover. We're constantly updating and improving the content that's posted. And you'll see on this particular page here that this real estate agent, this realtor, has 100,000 views on this page alone. It's pretty significant for small businesses, and so this is an example here of the page. We're constantly uploading content for our clients, and that says to Google that it is an active page and this local page should be well indexed. And that is the way that you get higher rankings. If I just type in, if I just type in, let's say, yoga. Everyone in California loves doing their yoga. And you'll see here that I've got Yoga Source. Now, Yoga Source comes up on top of the place results. This is not a client of ours. I'm just giving you a real live example. Why do they come up? Now, there's probably a range of reasons. They have better reviews. They've probably got a nicer looking place page. They've filled out all their information correctly. They've got lots of internal photos and external photos that they have uploaded. And so how you manage that local listing is really important. You've got to make sure that all your information is correct. It's correct across different channels, that the hours and the photographs are nice photographs, there's a description. So that gives you an example of how in this last sort of 7-8 years, Google's really enabled all of these tools called Google My Business tools for companies to manage their own listings. And when it becomes too big, too much of an issue, and businesses want to manage those citations across not just Google but Facebook and Yellow Pages and different local search engines, they turn to companies like ours, and we manage that process for them. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. Google also provide a reporting tool that allows you to have a look at how many page views, clicks. You can actually, synchronize this with your Google Analytics. So it becomes very accountable as an investment, local SEO and local search. And as I've explained, you can tell the head office as well as at a store level, exactly how many users you're driving to their website, how many people have clicked on the results page inside Google. So this dashboard enables a very easy way to manage. We often provide results of the top members and stores back to our clients. They feed those back to their member or stores, and they're extremely excited to see such level of lead generation coming from Google as a result of this continual updating of SEO that Search Forecast provides. You'll see in the future that Google are going to innovate a lot. Here's an example of these business cards that Google's providing. This is a Huntington, New York comic store that's been trialing these business cards format that Google is rolling out. So just a bit of an update there. Google's also always trialing new search results formats. And in the future, they're definitely going to start selling the send request. So right now you pay for the word, plumber San Francisco, electrician New Jersey, floor installation Florida, right? In the future, Google's going to start charging every time someone clicks on the send request button, because what they're really doing is, expanding their advertising service beyond just people clicking to people calling. So that's just a pretty interesting update that's happening right now as this webinar is being recorded. Today, June 22nd, 2016. Just a sidebar on that, Ray. I mean, we're tracking Google every day on what changes they're making. Essentially such a large monopolistic company with 65% market share of search in the United States, and in countries like Australia and Sweden and Germany, they have 95% market share. They really are a dominant force, and for a lot of small businesses, they're not just dependent. They're they're tied to the hip of Google in providing them with business leads.
Yeah, Mark, I think it's also relevant to point out that these changes that Google are making, they're prioritizing these results. Isn't that correct? So, it used to be sort of an extra add-on that folks could do for their business. Now it's becoming more and more a requirement. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, you're right. I think it was a nice to have, Ray, 7-8 years ago. You would, I mean, Google essentially just crawled your website and then gave you a free listings page. And that's how they promoted the My Business and grew the My Business local listing service. People stumbled across their address and phone number in the Google results page and went, oh, I can edit this. I mean, if you still to this day, if we go back here to Google, you can see, let's just go back to the yoga example. I can suggest an edit. So if that's My Business, I can say, hey, you've got my phone number wrong. And you can actually, like right now, I could edit, even though I don't own this business, I could say to Google, that phone number is wrong. Google will then, if I say change that phone number, which I won't, but if I could, they will then try and verify that. And so there's a number of ways that Google send out postcards. They ring the business. They look at different citations in different local search directories. It's become a very sophisticated part of Google's business, a very profitable one. And you're right, Ray. We get asked, as you know, every week and month by different clients, how do I get higher up in the search results? Because it is really important. People aren't just typing the word yoga. They're on their mobile phone and they're saying, I want, show me different stores in San Francisco. Google detects they're on a mobile phone, will automatically look at websites that are not just mobile compliant, but are in that general vicinity because they know through Google Maps which businesses are located there and surface those results. So, it is really important and for people to understand that Google is definitely prioritizing the results, Ray. Unbelievable growth in the number of searches that have happened on mobile devices in the last 4 or 5 years. People are typing the words around me, near me, nearby, right? You're in the middle of Manhattan, you type in the word, pizza parlors around me. Users' intent of search now assumes that Google understands where they are. It's an implicit, implied relationship that consumers have with their mobile phones, knowing that Google understands where they are. Google did a TV ad on it. It aired in different parts of the world. 65% of teenagers use voice now. They don't type into Google. They hit that button and say candy stores, Jersey Shore, or jewelry stores, Boston. Voice search is growing at exponential rates. Google use a lot of the local SEO that's included in websites and local pages as the identifiers that they draw upon when people are using local voice search. Here's another example. People are just typing in saying into Google, call plumber. They're not even saying, plumber Brooklyn, Ray, right? They're saying call plumber. So they've skipped not just the web page, the local SEO page, the local Google page. They're just pressing their voice prompt on their Android or iPhone and saying call plumber. And they're expecting Google or Siri or the voice activation to interpret those local results and then come back and give them 4 phone numbers. I mean, it's a phenomenal jump from doing SEO pages in 2006, 2007 for, bills.com and HiFX and SpeedDate to now having, as large store networks of clients where we're optimizing meta tags and content on mobile phones for users that are prompting on voice. It's amazing to think that we're in this age of wearable devices, iWatches, iPhones, and it's only going to get more. I read an article in the Wall Street Journal last week that that had Jeff Bezos, the founder of CEO of Amazon, talking about that they have now sold their 4th millionth Echo device, which is the little speaker that sits in your home that you talk to that is all voice activated. We are definitely talking to our clients about mobile users and voice searching. We're not just asking about who and what and why. Users are saying, how do I find? Where do I find? Tell me, show me, call. So this how and where are the next prefixes in the local search query indexation that we're architecting into local websites for our clients.
Mark, if I could interrupt, just real quick, I've got a question here. Do franchise companies and let's say real estate companies that have agents that are utilizing the My Business profiles, do they have will they benefit? Oh, so for instance, if let's just use the plumber. If I'm just a solo plumber, versus let's say a franchise plumber. So is there a benefit on that angle? for franchise companies and larger companies that have more
Right. Good.
places?
Great question. Whoever asked that, well done. Yeah, it's not this cumulative effect that you would expect. Like in web-based desktop SEO, the the rule of thumb, as you know from my previous or webinars, is the more content you have, the more pages, the more keywords, the greater the keyword universe, right? So you need to expand and multiply the number of words on a page, pages on a website to show Google that you've got weight, impact, and you've got a meaningful website. With local SEO, it's slightly different, and I'll tell you why. Particularly on mobile, because Google knows that you're in a geo area, right? Like, I mean, think about your own behavior. You're living and breathing and eating and sleeping in a 4 or 5 mile radius most of the time, or a significant percentage of the time. I think it's 20% of 80% of people spend 90% of their time in a polygon of like 10 miles, right? It's incredibly dense. And Google know on your mobile phone through the latitude and longitude detection of the GPS coordinates, they know where you are. And so they're not going to reward, let's say, the furniture retail store in Miami with having 1,000 stores nationwide when someone is in Miami Beach looking for a furniture store, right? They will give as much validity to the single mum and pop store that's right downtown Miami Beach that they will to, let's say, Sleep Train or Lazy Boy, who's got thousands of stores around the country. So it's a very, very good question. Content partnerships is really important for local SEO. We're doing a lot of these, continue to, with our clients. House.com, the big interior design marketplace. We just struck a deal with them and 500 real estate agents. Probably the biggest influence on mobile, and it's not so much SEO, it's just a phenomena, is this Geo Filters. If you haven't seen what a Geo Filter is, it's an avatar, it's a designed icon that sits on a photograph or in a video that you take on Snapchat. They're automatically added to pictures, and you can. It basically says to people you're sharing images and content, selfies that you take, it says where you are. And I think that probably finishes today's webinar, but it gives you an insight into just the evolution, the timeline, the journey that local SEO has come from when we started doing it 10 plus years ago, building local suburban pages for desktop, is now moving into local listings, sophisticated my business pages that incorporate Google Maps, Street View, social reviews, the need to continually update those pages, and then moving into mobile, voice activation, and now social media networks on mobile, native advertising networks like Snapchat. Again, you can contact me, you can contact Ray. Ray will send this presentation out to everyone after we conclude today. Ray, is there any more questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, Mark, what areas, what markets do you think perhaps are not utilizing this where there's new opportunity? I'm thinking areas where there's consolidations with banking, retail, healthcare is consolidating into associations. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Look, a great thing to do actually is to just type in local search ecosystem into Google. You'll see these amazing charts that different companies have done on just all the different second, third tier networks that roll into this local ecosystem. There are there are companies that aggregate all the APIs and provide a sort of a single point of entry for companies that've got lots of stores. I think what's going to happen, Ray, is there's definitely probably going to be consolidation. I mean, most businesses care about, one or two or three local listings. Bing, Yahoo, and Google, and then there's different local listings. I think what's going to happen is video is going to become more important. That's definitely something that Google will fuse, I guess, more into because they own YouTube. And I think where it doesn't make a lot of sense is, in the mobile native apps like Snapchat, Vine, Line, these sorts of, youth social sharing networks. I think there's a lot to happen in voice search. We're still learning, as you know, on what drives voice search. All I can say is it's extremely important to have local search identifiers, suburbs, zip codes, verbs, doing words included into your, copy meta tags, and then this notion of natural language programming that Google's baked into their algorithm and Amazon's baked into their Echo product, and Apple and others are putting into their wearable devices. That's a work in progress. So we might have to have another webinar on that sometime in the future, Ray.
Okay, great. And I have one more question from the attendees. You had mentioned sites like Yelp sort of overtaking popularity and search results versus legacy Yellow Pages type of directories. And you'd mentioned that reviews help increase the results page findings. So could you just explain that? Is that an area where businesses can improve their search results based on reviews?
Google do allow consumers to post a review. And I'll just use this yoga example again. If I just click out of here, you'll see those 4.5 stars. So if I click on Google reviews, I myself can write a review right now. I just click here, Ray, and I can write, great yoga, wonderful teacher, and I can give them a star rating here. So Google will give priority to those companies that have reviews that are better reviews. And so there's definitely priority given, everything else being equal, to those websites that have reviews. Not always. You'll see here, I mean, Avalon Yoga has got 6 reviews and they're 4.8, and Samyama have 4.7. Yoga Source has a lower score, but it has more reviews. So there is a rough but not a perfect science about the number of reviews matters, as well as the quality of those reviews, right?
Great, thank you. Thanks for that. Well, Mark, that's all we have on this side as far as questions go. Thank you very much for taking the time today. Thanks to all those who attended. As Mark said, we will send a link to the archive, which will be on our website at searchforecast.com. So, Mark, once again, thank you very much. Thanks to all the attendees. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, everyone.
All right, goodbye. Thanks.